This is Rockin' with J-Man, and today we are here with Joe and Rich from Breaking in a Sequence. So how you guys doing today?
Doing good,
Good,
man.
man. Doing great. Thanks for having us.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. It's my pleasure to be speaking with you guys right now.
The pleasure's all ours, bro.
So
You've been doing a lot of stuff, man, since the last
yeah,
time we were around.
I know, I know
You're
I've been
all over the
busy.
place.
I've been busy trying to get my name
Yeah,
out
it's working.
there. So for people just discovering the band, what's the story behind it and how the band first came together?
Oh, that's a long story. Um, Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
You want me to start it off?
Yeah, you were there before me.
Yeah, I was. I was. So I was playing in a previous project with David Silvera and Chris Dorme. It was a project we signed up for about a year that we didn't really write any music in. And after that year was coming to a close, we just kind of realized that we had some creative differences and we wanted to write some music. And so we quit that project and started breaking in a sequence. Um, and we had a few songs on the hook that we wanted to like bring forward, but we didn't have a vocalist in the band. So we put out a press release and did a worldwide singer search. And I think we got like 350 or 360 like submissions, something like that. Um, and we ended up narrowing it down to a few different people. And Rich was the one that kind of stole the cake or whatever you want to call it.
Well,
and
I
yeah,
wasn't even
so
in the running. I actually wasn't in the running at all.
he wasn't. And we got it down to two, and we had people actually some one person flew in from Germany, and one person was like down south in California, in San Diego, and then there was one other person too, and they were all good, but it just wasn't vibing, and we did a last minute thing, and Chris Dorme was the one that actually said, "Hey, we should send some stuff out to Rich, this guy right here," and we sent him out some stuff, and he ended up taking our music we sent him and he chopped it all up and sent it back. And we were like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? Like chopping up our music. And then, about a week later, after we were all listening to it, we're like, hey, man, this is actually good. And then we had him come down. And first time we got in the studio, we knew it was him. So that's how the band started. We ended up putting up two different EPs with David Silvera. Um, and that was we did it pretty well anyway, but until kind of COVID hit and some stuff happened there, but and kind of put a wrench in our gears. And then David's father passed away, and he wanted to do some family stuff, so it we kind of wrapped it up into whether we were going to keep doing music or not, with or without him, or if we were going to get another drummer and that type of stuff. But that's kind of how it got to where we're at now.
So
Yeah.
was there a specific moment where you realized that this was just going to be more than a side project and became like a really serious thing?
I don't think we take it as a serious thing.
Hmm.
I think we're still having fun, like getting together and jamming, and we try to keep it fun still, right? So in our heads, I don't think it's a serious thing. I think we have a lot of fun. It's our output, our
Mhm.
creative output and everything.
Outlet
Oh
and
yeah,
I mean, we take it serious to enough that I mean, I think that we're all kind of masters, or not masters, but I mean, you know, it, we take pride in what we're doing, and when we want to do something, we want to do it professionally and to look professional and sound professional and put on a professional show and work with professionals. So, I mean, it's not just, we're not just some garage jam band, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, the reason why we really do it now, it's not, we're all up there in years. We're not trying to be, get the $1 million record deals that they don't give to anybody anymore. And, you know, we're just trying to get out there and do some cool stuff with some cool people sometimes, and have a good time doing it and let some people hear our art is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, we just want to be heard. You know what I mean? Like we're out there doing it with the guys that we grew up listening to, you know, which
Hmm.
is really cool. You know, and we get to play these really cool shows and meet some really cool diehard fans. You know,
Yeah.
we've made some really good friends out there who've come to show after show after show after show, you know, and we would have never been able to meet them or even have you know, have these bands who we looked up to know who we are now. You know, they know us by name and everything. So it's cool.
That is cool.
When
Yes,
you
Joe.
You
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
when you guys first started, what sound were you chasing?
I think when we first started, we wanted to be a rock band, right? And so that's where hesitation came from. It was more like a rock song, you know, it's like a hard, maybe a light hard rock song, right? And as we kept playing, we just started naturally gravitating to heavier styles. So then we started getting heavier and heavier. But at the same time, I didn't want us to just be like a this heavy screaming band. So I kind of, if you just listen to the music's like pretty heavy now. I kind of tone it down with my vocal melodies when I throw my vocal melodies on there. It's kind of cool because, you know, when we write the song, all these guys hear it a certain way, and I hear it a completely different way. And whenever I put my vocals on top of it, it changes the actual song. Like, um, I don't know how to explain that, but maybe Joe, you can explain it because you're on the other side of it.
I mean, I've always liked writing prettier melody, you know, and clean tone stuff. Like I try to take pride in some of my clean tone guitar stuff, and making sure. And I love my delays and my choruses and stuff like that. So, but I also like being able to punch people in the face even in the same song. So I do a lot of try to be drastically changing back and forth, and it went from a little bit more of a hard rock side to that. And then also, like, it's been a big difference, you know, doing and writing music from David, which was you know, amazing, and he's got his own groove style just as soon. But when we got BC in the band, you know, he's a little bit more busier, he's got a little bit more flavor as far as you know, with his ghost notes and his fills and things like that, and a little bit more of a faster paced type thing. So I guess, you know, I mean, but we've definitely gotten heavier with some of that stuff. But I mean, there's still a lot of clean and heavy in all of our songs, even on this album that we're putting out. So it's like, it's a contrast. But I would say we went from more of an alternative hard rock band to like an alternative metal band, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah, and something that we didn't cover after David retired from this band, we were everything was kind of up in the air, and I was actually contemplating walking away from this band. And I told Joe that the only way that I would stay in this band is if he got BC Vaught to drum for us. BC Vaught from Head PE, right? He was the original drummer from Head PE because he was the other groove drummer that I looked up to back in the 2000s. You know, the first one being David, and then the second one being BC. So Joe made it happen. So props to Joe. Joe's the reason why we're sitting here talking about this right now because Joe went and hounded BC every single day for what, like a month or two?
It wasn't that bad, bro. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
like, seriously. I mean, I hit him up here and there, and we had probably three or four different conversations about it, but
yeah. And
it
then you
wasn't
went and
every
hung
day.
out
Like,
with,
bro,
yeah,
please
yeah. It
come
was every
down.
day.
I need you, or else Rich is gonna leave. It wasn't that.
Uh,
It was just like,
he showed me your crying videos that you sent to him. You sent them flowers. I saw.
no, but yeah, no, he wanted to play again deep down, and he hadn't played since he left Breaking Benjamin, really anything except for in his room. So he had to dust some drums off and come in and play. And him and David got to meet each other. David like showed him some parts and gave him some cymbals, and it was a really cool experience for us anyway to see that
Yeah,
happen. So that was
it
dope.
was really awesome. Really awesome how it all
What do you
came
think,
together.
Jam Man? What do you think about the music? You were here from the beginning. You talked to David. What do you hear the difference in the two?
A little bit. I mean, I see that there's like a big difference, but you could tell that they can be similar sometimes, but I like it. I do.
Okay. I'm glad you like. I mean, obviously, you asked us to come on your show, so I was hoping you were digging the music a little
Actually, he asked
bit.
you. He actually asked you. He didn't ask
He
me.
had no, he went to the
Just
band
kidding.
page and to my page, so which was cool. So
Just kidding. I don't pay attention to any of that. So if
yeah.
you reach out to the right person.
So, did the sound evolve naturally, or did you consciously try to build a unique
Yeah.
identity and separate from each other?
No. We we never go into a song going, oh, we want it to sound like this. We literally, they, what these guys do is they jam in a room, right? And they multi track record that jam. And then they send me that jam and I listen to it and I go, okay, I like this riff. I don't like this riff. I like this riff. And then so I'll remove all the riffs that I don't like and I'll start piecing a song together. And I'll send them back almost a complete song, like musically, for them to listen to. And then Joe will go, oh, I like this part. I don't like this part. Let's change this. And then they go back and they play that. And then we do more chopping. And by the time we've done most of the chopping of the riffs that we don't like, I'll listen to the song and I've heard it enough times at that point that melodies will just pop into my head, right? Like I'll hear the vocals for the song in my head and I'll just do like syllable counts and then I'll write the words to it and send it back to them. And then they rewrite it one last time around my vocals, right? So,
it's
so
all
it's
it's
a,
all vibe situation, and sometimes and we're never trying to like focus towards being this. It's we
no,
have a real old school pattern, and I think you can kind of hear that in our music too. Is just that we like to get in a room together and bounce off of each other and feel each other's vibes and soul, and like whether BC's got a beat. A lot of there's a couple songs on this album that it was beats that BC has been playing that he's written within the last years that he wasn't doing, that he was just screwing around within a room, and he wanted to do something with, so which inspired me or inspired the other members in the band to write some guitar stuff or some bass tracks to go along with it. But yeah, there's no like preconceived notion of like, hey, this is how we want this band to sound.
yeah, we kind of just play it off the cuff. And I think it shows because we don't. I think that we don't do things like typical bands are doing these days. Like riff wise or even instrumentation wise. We're just kind of just letting all of our influences take control. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What were the biggest challenge in the earlier years before people started really paying attention?
Oh man.
Mm.
Um, well, the biggest challenge is getting out from underneath the behemoth's shadow, right? Because we had David Silvera, just getting out of the Corn shadow. Like we're not trying to sound like Corn. We never really have tried to sound like Corn or anything like that. We're just a separate entity than Corn. I mean, I love Corn.
I
I
mean,
grew up as that's my favorite band. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
and I mean, Korn obviously influenced me with guitar playing too, along with a ton of other bands, like Fear Factory, and as far as heavy music goes, and but and Rage and all those types of bands have influenced me guitar wise. But yeah, that was the hardest thing, was just trying to get out. If you're playing a seven string tuned guitar that's anywhere in near the tuning of A, like it, I guess you can get thrown into that mix of the Korn vibe, but I use a different tuning than Korn uses, and I definitely have a little bit more melodic, I would say, verses and things to sing over than that I would
Well,
see or from Korn anyway.
well, I mean, we had the drummer, the ex drummer from Corn, so
And
I
it's
guess
hard to
that's
get
what
out
the
of that. I mean,
yeah.
you got his groove. It was hard.
But
So
there was another shadow that we had to get out from underneath too, and it was your old band shadow. It's true. It's a true story. It was hard to
that
actually
was,
come up because um, I don't know if you know anything about their old band that they were in, but they got panned pretty hard, and uh, and that was the first big hurdle because we had to dig ourselves out of a hole.
yeah, but we did.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would say that's the hardest hurdle for sure.
So you guys finally have some new music coming out. When did the writing process for this album begin?
Oh my God. Um, I want to say like 3 years ago. When BC first joined the band, we didn't write anything with him. We were just still trying to feel each other out. And the vibe that we had, excuse me, the vibe that we had with David was we were all bros, and we all knew where we were going to go musically when we were jamming. We didn't have any of that with BC, right? BC came in and he, we could talk to each other, but we didn't have that musicality with each other, that knowledge with each other. So BC started just booking shows with a bunch of people, with a bunch of bands out there, and we had this crazy opportunity to like reunite Head OG, right? So the OG members of Head PE all got together, and I think that's when we actually started realizing when we started learning the Head PE songs to do this Head OG show that we did. We started learning how to write with BC. So after we
Mhm.
learned those, we started just writing, and it was he would start jamming more at practice, and it kind of like reignited the flame in him once we learned those old songs. I feel like.
Yeah, and when he came in too, like BC's whole outlook on things is because he was a little jaded from the music business from before of things how things went down when he left after leaving Head and with Breaking Benjamin. He was just like, I don't want to do anything but play music. I don't want anything to do with any of the back end stuff. I just want to play shows and have some fun. And that's exactly what we started doing. And um then we started getting some stuff in the room together. He's like, well, I got this beat and let's do this. And then and I'd had this beat and I was like, well, I got this guitar riff, and he would come up with that. And so we just kind of just, started melding things out. But it was almost, you know, 2 years. It was 2 years before we even thought about getting into the record, and starting to record, an album. We were just playing shows. And for me, I mean, I don't know about Rich, but for me, it was just starting to feel a little stagnant just because it's like I was starting to feel like, okay, well, I've been playing the same songs for I don't know how long. And it's songs that I wrote with another person that's not even in the band anymore. And it was like I was almost in my own cover band at that point. So I'm glad we actually took some time to start writing and solidify the music together with BC, and it ended up turning out. I'm really happy with the record. The first single just came out, but we're gonna
Yeah.
keep releasing some more stuff, and hopefully you'll keep liking it.
What was the different creatively about this time? Well, around this time compared to your previous material?
Creatively, I think we all grew. Um, it was just a little bit different because BC hadn't written with us yet, right? So he would try to go play his beats all technical, like I don't know how to super busy beats, I guess, right? And that's totally opposite of how we used to write with David. We used to when we wrote with David, it was four on the floor beats, right? So it would be straight four on the floor, and we would basically get the structure laid out that way, and then he would come in and do his extra, busy. He'd add his busyness to it, right? So um, when
Yeah,
BC
and
came in,
BC
he
just
would
comes
just be
straight in with
busy.
the business.
Yeah, he comes in straight with the business, and it's super busy, and it's actually harder that way for me to write vocals when it's already busy, right?
Mm.
Because I like to go in between all the beats, and if there's too many beats, I can't go in between them. So that took some time to get used to, but I think we got used to it after this record.
Yeah.
So
So, did you go into the album with a specific concept or a theme in mind?
no,
Yeah.
not at all. We just write off the cusp, right? Like, I don't know if you're a songwriter or if you're a musician, but like whenever I hear a song as a singer, right? Um, Sometimes a line will just pop in there, and you go, "Oh, I'm gonna write this song about that." You know what I mean? At least that's how I do things. Some people go, going, I'm going to write this about the space odyssey that's going to happen in 2037. I don't know. But I can't do that. I have to listen to it and get the feel for it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
there's
we ended up turning
certain
it
note
in
progressions.
into a theme with some of the art that we got from Vought and doing stuff, as far as the whole album put together. But it didn't start out that way. Like we weren't like doing, hey, we're gonna write this kind of theme towards it. But it ended up just coming together naturally the way it happened. But
Yeah, it's all feel. We do
yeah.
everything by feel.
What about you, Jam Man? What's up with you? Are you jamming? You playing some music?
Um, I try to every now and then. I like to mess around with my guitar,
Yeah.
but mainly in my life, I've been just pursuing sports kind of thing. Like, of course,
Okay.
I still keep doing this, of course, but like my main thing is that I just try to keep myself active and just always try to stay athletic.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Yeah, I've been
good.
trying to be active lot more in the last year or two myself.
I can tell.
What's what's your favorite what's your favorite sports and what are you into? What are you playing right now? Because you're still in school, right?
Yeah, I'm still in school. My favorite sport as of now is wrestling. That's one of like my main sport. I'm actually really good at that.
Nice.
Then then football and then lacrosse. Those are my other sports. So yeah.
Dope. What kind of guitar? I got two questions for you. What kind of guitar you got that you play with every once in a while? And what made you want to start? I mean, if you're into sports, what made you want to start like I mean, because you interview more people than just people in bands, but I mean, people in the industry at all. What made you want to start doing this?
Well, my dad actually did this before me. My dad was a main guy and he was called Suffocating Cool and he would when I was little, he would always bring me to shows and he would always take me backstage with them or in the trailer when he would like interview them there at the concert. And I always thought in my mind, or I would just say out loud, Dad, ask him this, or what about this? And then he was like, well, when you're old enough, you're going to do your own thing. And eventually during COVID, my dad was like, you know what, just start it now. You're going to be able to do it on Zoom. Because at first I was a little nervous to do it. Like I had a kind of like confidence issue when I was younger. So he's like, do it on Zoom. You're gonna do just fine. And I had my first interview. I thought I did great. And then my second interview, I interviewed Bumblefoot, and then it just went on from there and there.
Mm,
And
nice.
what drove me into sports is that when I was little, or younger, I should say, like sixth grade, I was bullied a lot because I was obese. Like I wasn't a really athletic kid. I wasn't tall yet. I didn't really have
Mm,
anything going for me. So my dad got me into sports so I could try to lose weight, and that's like the number one thing that got me to lose weight. And overall, it made my life like just a way better thing.
Yeah,
nice.
that's great.
That's cool. Following in dad's footsteps. I always respect those stories, man, for
Yeah.
sure. And what kind of guitar you got? What's the guitar you're playing?
I gotta ask my dad real quick. I know that's a dumb thing to say, but like I just like he gave me
It's
the
okay.
it's an old guitar, so
Bro, you're a wrestler, dude. I don't expect you to know everything about guitars right now.
all right, I'll be right back to ask him real quick.
All right.
It's a Washburn. It's a
Yeah.
Dean Washburn. It's got lightning bolts on it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's great. Yeah, he's grown up, huh?
Yeah, dude, a lot. It's
That's
crazy.
crazy. Coming
Considering
back around.
it doesn't seem like it was that long ago that David interviewed with him.
I know. It was, dude. It was like what, 5 years ago?
No,
Yeah,
was it?
probably.
I play a Gibson.
Gibson.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, Gibson.
Yes, like Seven
Nice.
Dust, the
Yeah.
Seven Dust Snot Gibson.
That
Right, those
actually
are Gibson players.
it's actually a big influence for me, Seven Dust, actually.
I
Yes.
think Seven Dust does a lot of Dean too and PRS.
Hmm.
Oh, do they? But they
Dean
play.
and
I
PRS.
thought they played Gibson too. Maybe I'm wrong.
It might maybe the bass player, but I think um I'm pretty sure it's PRS and Dean. I could be wrong, but
Well, fine. Slash. He plays Schecter now. No,
So,
no, he doesn't.
was this album written during a difficult period or a hopeful period or just somewhere in between?
Neither. Um, it was just written in between. I mean, some of it we started in COVID, right?
Hmm.
I want to say there's like two songs on the record that we wrote with David that BC learned, and then the rest of them are all just new ones.
Actually, one of the songs on the album is Unsavory, and we wrote that right before COVID happened.
No,
And
we wrote that. We wrote that during COVID.
oh, during COVID. Yeah, it was during COVID. And I saw that you interviewed my boy Ron Poison recently
Yeah.
with Colt. Yeah. And at that time, I remember Ron was putting on these like after hours live streams. And so he hit us up to go on, and we did a version of Unsavory for the first time live when it was during COVID, and it was like an acoustic unplugged version with just me and Rich at my buddy's place, and we set up for the live stream and did. I think we did 3 or 4 songs that night, and Unsavory was one of them. But yeah, we wrote that one with David, so that was written during a different period for sure. And anytime you lose somebody like David in the band, and they're moving across the country, and the only way you guys can write is in the same room. Um, I mean, I'd say it was a difficult time for me because this band was kind of like my baby, But I mean, anything that I was putting into it, I always I try to put my all into it. But
So what is the meaning behind the album title?
Inanimate. It's basically because the band has been inanimate,
Mm.
right? For what, 4 years, right? Because we haven't really been doing anything, and it's also kind of like a play on, kind of also a play on like the state of how I feel music is these days. It's inanimate, it's robotic, everything is so perfected. Um, so I wanted to name it Inanimate just because I feel like a lot of music out there has lost its soul.
Mm. Which song came together the fastest?
Um,
mm,
the,
off the
the,
record,
off the record, um, I would say Distress came together the fastest. And
yeah,
Distress is it's actually a piano song. So um, Joe does Rock to Recovery, right? And one day he had set up his keyboard, and he just sat down and he just started playing a riff, right? You didn't actually like write it. You wrote it like on the spot. He set his hands down and he started playing this riff, and he happened to be recording it, and he sent it to me. He's like, "Bro, what do you think of this?" I'm like, "Piano? What? Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I
well,
think I think you could do something with this."
actually, I mean, you're close. I mean, I got that to Rich, but what happened is I just did like an online video of me playing piano, and I just went down and I just put it on my stories on Instagram. And what happened is Chris Collier saw my story and told me like, "Hey, bro, we need to record this on the album," because we already had it set up. We were already going into the studio and doing whatever. And he's like, "I'll make sure we had the studio." Had this beautiful like baby grand piano, and he's like, "I want to record it like fully live and with all the microphones and do whatever." I was like, "Well, I can just bring a keyboard out." He's like, "No, I want the full thing." And he's like, "I can imagine this being something epic, and we can put something behind it." And I was like, "Okay." And so I sent it to Rich, and Rich wasn't really about it at first,
No, I
but
wasn't. I was
but it
like,
turned out
"Why?
great.
Why a piano song?" But so Chris Collier is the producer on this record. He's my best friend, and I guess the part that you left out, Joe, was that Chris said, "Dude, I could totally hear Richard singing over this."
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, 100%.
so that's so that's why he sent it. So then I took it, and we were going out to the studio. I want to say that weekend, and it was like he sent it to me on a Tuesday. So I literally wrote all the words and all the melodies to that song on my drive to Vegas. So it was a 4 hour drive, and I wrote everything on that drive. So that was the
So
fastest one to come together.
yeah.
Which song gave you the hardest time in the studio?
In the
Mm.
studio or just writing? I can tell
Uh,
you what song
yeah, both.
was okay. So the hardest song to write was a song called Parasite. And the reason why it was so hard to write was because these guys jammed, like there was like a 25-minute jam that they did, and I heard one riff. Actually, I heard two riffs that I liked from it. So I extracted those riffs and I said, write this, go off of this. And the guys, for some reason or another, they're like, oh, I don't really feel it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm like, trust me, just do it. And they still wouldn't do it. They still wouldn't jam or do anything like that. So finally, I took different jams. I took different audio jams and I found drums and I started piecing it together that way. And then Joe finally heard what I was hearing and he started putting the correct riffs to it. And then I'd be like, no, this next part just needs to be whole notes because, that was the whole second chorus part. But
Yeah.
when it finally came together, musically, I sent it to the guys and they're like, oh, I don't know. And then I put lyrics over it, and that's what sealed the deal. Then the guys actually got stoked on it, and then they rewrote all their parts.
Yeah. And it turned out to be like my favorite song on the album. So
Yeah, but that was hard, just putting all that together. In the studio, I don't remember having many issues with anything. I don't remember BC having very many issues. Did you guys have issues tracking guitars?
no, I think what it was, I think when we did the cover of Ground for Head PE, that was the one that was probably the hardest, was because what happened was Chris was said, "Hey, I'm going to get some tones," and BC just started playing Ground, and he played those things so many times he just plays the song front to back without any music, right? And so Chris is like, "What is he playing? It sounds like he's playing a song." I think that's the cover of Ground, and Chris told him to stop, and Rich and Chris was like, "Hey, start from the top. I'm gonna hit a click," and he's like, "Okay," and he said, and so he just ran it the whole thing. And then we're like, well, fuck, I guess we're going to put a cover on the record. So we played the song once or twice and then we had to figure it out. And then we ended up having, like, it just isn't right playing head stuff with Wes or Chad. So we invited Wes Gear to come down and play on the record too. But because we weren't going to do it justice without it. So that was probably the hardest one in the studios because we had to wait and then get Wes
fly
to,
them out, yeah.
yeah, and have him come out and do some stuff, and then realized I was playing some stuff wrong and played it, and then had to go over and played right, and then adding some bias flair to the end of it. So that's basically, I think that was the hardest one, at least for me.
Is there one track you think the fans will instantly connect with?
Parasite.
Okay.
That's what I would think.
Parasite, or I mean, just Parasite's a long song, so I mean, I hope they connect with it. But I
No
think our
Conscience.
next, I think, yeah, No Conscience is going to be good too. We're going to have a nice guest on that one also, and I mean, our next single that we're going to release, Probably Don't Run. I'm hoping people hook onto that pretty well because that's what everybody seems to think that's the song. So
Yeah, well, that was the first song that we wrote with BC.
it is.
Literally.
Yeah. There's a live version of it, us playing it at the Whiskey, but
yeah.
Somewhere.
Which track best represents breaking a sequence right now?
Best represents us?
Yeah.
Well, the best track that anyone can hear that best represents us would probably be Delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, that represents us right now is probably going to be, I would say, Parasite. If it's right now.
Think? Yeah. Well, but no one can hear that yet. So.
Yeah.
That.
Meant to Be, the one that is out, that it just came out. I mean,
yeah,
that represents us pretty well,
Yeah, because it's melodic. It's a little heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. Threw us a curveball there, Jam Man.
I know.
Were there any songs that didn't make the album but really hurt to leave off?
Yeah, there were 3 or 4 songs that we did with David that just didn't translate properly to this iteration of the band, and they were great songs. Um, I hope that maybe one day we can put those together and actually release them, but they just didn't translate properly over. But those were basically our those songs were like the bridge to our sound now.
Mm, yeah.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
Yeah, I would say that it's probably those, you know, cut your teeth. There's a couple songs that we were doing when we were getting ready to go before, David had his whole traumatic experience, and we had to change gears with what we were going to go with the band. But we had, I think we had like 5 or 6. We had another EP's worth of music ready to go and get ready to get into the studio when everything went down. So, God, I think it was more than that. I think we had more than that.
Yeah, I
But
want to say there were like 7 tracks. We did 2 of them. We got 2 of them. We got
yeah,
Unsavory and we got A New Line. So there's 2 David Silvera tracks on our record
yeah.
So,
that we wrote with him.
do you write a lot more material than what people eventually hear?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we do. Um, I, I personally, I like to write as much as possible. Like back in the David era of the band, we would write a new song every week, right? Is that what
Yeah.
it was, Joe? Something like
Yeah.
every week or 2 weeks, we would have a new song. And whether or not we, move forward with it, it was just another notch under the belt, and it was just, we used it like practice, like
Mm.
songwriting practice. This band, we don't do it so much. So I try to keep myself busy doing like features for other people and stuff. But I
I'm
love
al-
writing.
I'm always got something, I get into music when I'm in my head or emotional or do stuff, and that's where I do my best writing. And so I've always got stuff that I'm writing, and whether it makes it to the table with the rest of the band or not is you know um w- after this record's out, I'm hoping we're going to be getting down to business and writing some more stuff. But I'm always got now I've probably got 8 to 10 different things going on right now, and that I'm hoping gets brought up to the table, but whether it does or doesn't, I'm not really sure at this point. But
Yeah, Joe will send me a riff and I'll be like, I hate that. And then he gets all butthurt.
he does. That's true.
I'm just here to abuse Joe.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a strong chord connection surrounding breaking in a sequence. How did those relationships first begin?
Oh man, I don't know. It's all super coincidental, but obviously, um, David was with these guys beforehand, and that was like the main draw for me to just want to write music with David. Um, at our single release show, uh, BC has been friends with Fieldy for what 20, 30 years now. So Fieldy had reached out to see if his son's band Playa could get on the card or the card. What am I talking about? Like it's a fight card to see if he could get on
Fight.
onto the bill. And obviously, yeah, you know. And then BC asked him, "Hey, well, do you want to get up and jam with us?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So uh,
Originally, we were
Fieldy,
just gonna do the song that we had on the album because it was our release show, which and do the ground cover and have Fieldy do that. And then once we did it and we started having a good time together, then Fieldy was like, "Fuck it, let's do some corn songs." And so we did that for the record show, and um, which was cool and surreal and epic all at the same time. Just being able to do something like that. And then also, our producer Chris, that's done all of our records, both EPs and this new album. He's Chris's Rich is Chris's best friend, and he's been working with Korn for
Like
I
10
don't know,
years.
yeah, like a decade, doing recording and producing for them and engineering. So it's just kind of weird how it all just kind of like locked in to it, because it was like, okay, we chose Rich. He lived a mile, miles
80 miles
away.
away. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's best friends with the producer for Korn, and he started working with, Korn's old drummer while he's still recording with Korn. And it just kind of just started opening avenues, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like when you're in the record business or you're in the music business, as long as Korn's been done, like you can get into. I can't, put myself into their shoes, but everybody goes through their phases with music and the music industry. But it's like I, I'm honored that I've got to get on stage and just have, fun with people when they just want to have fun and play music, and that's what I got to do with David. That's what I got to do with Field E. That's what we got to do, so, and Rich and I were just talking about that the other day, but that's pretty much the Korn connection,
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird, but I mean, really, now I have to go hit up Head and Monkey and see if they want to collab with me so I can, get some more
Yeah,
members of Korn in
yeah.
the orbit, right? I don't know. Maybe I can do something with Jonathan.
Oh
Hey.
yeah. Hey, who
So
knows?
yeah, who knows?
Yeah, we
You
we,
never
we
know.
don't. It, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, like, hey, you're going to be playing with the original drummer from Korn, I would have told you were crazy. It was just it was just a trippy situation that happened, or that after David left, I would be on stage with another member of Korn. Was like that would have told you were crazy too. But
Or
these things are happening.
or we would have the drummer from Head PE, or we'd be jamming on stage with Wes Gear from Head
Yeah,
PE, or we would
yeah,
be jamming with the rest of OG Head PE. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. All
yeah.
of it's crazy.
So are you
True.
leaking something right now?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
I mean, because we played a few shows where we brought OG Head PE up, right? So we had DJ Product, we had Chad, we had Wes, and we played,
BC, obviously.
yeah, obviously BC, but we played what, like 4 or 5 Head PE songs, right?
Hmm.
The old school ones that don't get played anymore, you know.
Yeah.
So every now and then, when time permits, we'll do it again, like.
Actually, we're gonna be doing another. We're gonna play ground. We got a show with Snot on Saturday that's sold out at the Whiskey a Go Go, and we are gonna. I'll go ahead and leak something for you, Jam Man. We're gonna play ground again off the album, and our version of it anyway, and then with Wes, and then we're gonna whip out another Head song. So whether it's I think it might be Serpent Boy. We'll see. So there'll be some live versions of that coming out, but that should be fun.
What is the biggest thing you learned from being around that band a lot?
Being around Corn.
Yeah,
Corn or Head?
Corn. And then if you want to say anything about the other band, yeah.
Go ahead,
Um,
Joe.
what's the question one more time?
What's the biggest thing you learned from being around those bands?
Um, honestly, is um, you got to be careful. Like, and this is for both the bands, right? Because they're both bands, and this is what I've learned from both the bands, right? Is that you start a band like what we have here, and you start as people that enjoy hanging out with each other, enjoy playing music together, um, and you create something special together, and everybody puts their soul into the music, and then it creates what this is. And I feel like when you lose those members, um, a piece of that soul of that band leaves with it, and for whatever reason, it's just like some friendships die, some arguments happen, things happen throughout the years. People do make mistakes and or not make mistakes, and things get screwed up, and you start losing people. It just changes what you guys all came together to create in the first place. So I mean, that's what I've learned, and I'm not knocking them or anybody in those bands at all. I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just saying it's just like at some point, I don't know if it's the business side of it or the stardom side of it or where it comes from, but that's what I've learned from the band is that I always just try to like keep my relationships with my friends a little bit more important than anything that goes around any of the business shit in the band.
Yeah, and I've learned to always keep it fun,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like once it's not fun anymore, it becomes daunting like any other job, right? Obviously, it has its perks, but I don't know if you're old enough to have a job yet, but sometimes jobs really suck, bro.
Is
So
this your
if
full-time
you,
job, Jam Man?
I mean, you could say that, but I
so
work, I get my money just doing like yard work around my neighborhood, and then I'm gonna actually try out to get a job this summer, like a genuine like minimum wage job.
Mm,
yeah, so you'll know what I
nice.
mean shortly after you get that minimum wage job. Sometimes it just sucks, right? And you gotta just make the best of it, right?
Mhm.
So being in a band is like having another family or another set of girlfriends, right? It's like a relationship,
Mhm.
and you need to maintain that relationship and still be able to have fun and do the craft. And just seeing, you know, these bands like Head and Corn, I mean, yes, they keep it fun, but think about how long they've been doing it. Think about how much effort that takes to keep it fun night after night after night after night. And then the other thing I noticed about Corn, just being in there backstage, um, I just observe, right? I
Mhm.
watch people gravitate to them, and there's so many like, and I'm not talking crap about anyone, but there's so many like maggot type people that are trying to feed off of them like constantly. And I've noticed this over the course of, I want to say, 7 years of being in there backstage and just watching all the maggots hover, or the flies hover over them from other bands and talking about themselves. So I make that a point not to talk about myself or bands. If I'm talking to them, I try to talk to them like normal people. You know what I mean? Because
Mm.
everyone's trying to sell themselves to them, and I think that's crazy.
Um, Thank you guys so much for being on my show again. I'm sorry if it's cutting a little bit short, but thank you guys so much again. It's been my pleasure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no
dude.
problem. Thanks for
Thanks for
having us,
having
man.
us, bro.
All right, it's been my pleasure speaking with you guys again. I love the recap.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Bring us
Thank
back on
See you, man.
Later, dude.
later.